Blog Talk Radio.
The motherfucking saga continues.
Yo, what's up, world? It's badass thuggin' like I usually do, and you better turn it up, bust some speakers out, cause we off the motherfucking cuff. You dig how we do it? Dog Pound Gangsters 2000 and beyond. Blech.
What's up with it, y'all? Man, don't change that down. This your player partner, the legendary Cocaine. And you tuned in live to Off the Cuff Radio. Better not touch that down. Well.
Yeah, this is Cassidy, the hustler. And right now, you listening to the Guillotine. Show them the respect they deserve, man. Off the Cut Radio, man. Y'all already know how they doing it, man. I need y'all to stay tuned. They've been doing it for years, so show them the respect they deserve. And you heard it out of bars, mouth. Easy.
Keep it moving like this. Yo, this your boy Rampage. You're not rocking with the best. With Off the Cuff Radio. Classic. History. Fix your face to all you haters. We off the cuff, baby.
What's up, everybody? This your girl, Bonnie Dollars, the Queen of Trap, representing Crenshaw, and you are now tuned in with Off the Cuff Radio. What's up? What's up, y'all? This is Miss Irresistible, giving a shout out to the live show on Friday nights, Off the Cuff Radio, and I'm live from the 704. Make sure y'all tune in for the blazing hot music.
What it ain't, what it do. Chili Chill from that original Lynch Mob. And Off the Cuff Radio, always where it's at on Friday nights. West, y'all.
I see death in your eyes as you take your last breath and your soul starts to rise. You gon' find out early if them gates really pearly and if Jesus' feet burn like grass and hair curly. All of hell really hot. Said you wanna find out? Well, I'ma give you a shot, nigga. Pun intended, all funds suspended. Clips is extended. You start shit, we end it, motherfucker.
I show you what the block about. I do it while the cops around. Yeah, I show you how to watch man. I show you what the Glock's about. Yeah, I fuck around and pop around. My city trying to lock it down. Y'all feeling like Diddy. I'm feeling like Diddy. I said I'm feeling like Diddy. I'm feeling like Diddy.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is A.G. Along with the IU. You ever seen blood before? Not talking that pie rule. If you wonder what I do, I'm a professional mic fucker, so go call the boys in blue. Throw a blow that'll snap back, you snap back. In a booth that'll fit perfect in your ass crack. Normally I don't condone the violence, but all this fuckboy shit make me break my silence. Scream out like the mad shout, what up, fame? The Diddy bop and it can't go when truck change. They get mad when I tell the truth. Put a verse full of funk and let them smell the boots. Smell that. Your shit is trash, shit is whack, shit is garbage. No vocabulary, niggas sounding retarded. Too many rappers, boy, what happened to the artists? I ain't dumbing down my shit regardless. So step to the rear, IU is on arrival. Coronelli on the joint, make a real nigga smile. R.I.P. to Bill Black. He would've loved this shit, y'all still ask.
I show you what the block's about. I do it while the cops around. Yeah, I show you how to watch them out. I show you what the Glock's about. Yeah, I fuck around and pop around. My city tryna lock it down. Yeah, I'm feeling like Diddy. Feeling like Diddy. I'm feeling like Diddy. I said I'm feeling like Diddy. I'm feeling like Diddy. I'm feeling like Diddy.
Yeah. New year, new me, fuck that, ain't nothing changed. Still Timbs and hoodies, getting brains in the rain. Still do it for my niggas, juggling with the things. On the block, making punches, getting money in bunch, yeah. And the bros doing squats in the crunch, right. Trying to get the abs tight, and that ass right. Know you love the way I hit the pussy last night. Sexy looking for me daytime with a flashlight. But I know where to be found. I'm somewhere in another town, trying to move another pound. Niggas know IU, I don't fuck around. Send for the hearse, AG finish the verse.
Yo, granddaddy, I got it. A little bit of class for those lacking the knowledge. Still getting my tips, still dropping them hits. And even if they suck, I still rock with the Knicks. It's a New York thing, the home of the chain swing. Got Brooklyn written across the front of the name ring. All these sucker niggas rap about the same thing. Fake champs don't belong in the same ring.
I show you what the block's about. I do it while the cops around. Yeah, I show you how to watch your mouth. I show you what the Glock's about. Yeah, I fuck around and pop around. My city tryna lock it down. Yeah, feeling like Diddy. Feeling like Diddy. Feeling like Diddy. I said I'm feeling like Diddy. Feeling like Diddy. I'm feeling like Diddy.
Let's go. Your favorite rapper is a fan of mine. New York to Anaheim. Switch up the paradigm, nigga. I see your panty line. Homie, you know me. I never gave a fuck. When I do what I'm doing, I do it to make a buck.
Yeah. What it is? What it do? It's your man, King Eric, the media assassin, and you are now tuned in to Off the Cuff Radio. This is a special episode because we got a grandstand legend in the building. And this show is sponsored by Buddy Boy Entertainment, Fleetwood and the Cotton Pickers, Jesse's Boutique, Core Financial. I got my host T-Max with the facts in the building.
What it do, y'all? It's another Friday night on the frequency of OTC. We are live and direct. I am the co-pilot of this tremendous fly of flightness. It is no doubt, man, King. King, we got a living legend on the line tonight, man.
Yes, sir. We also got Pittsburgh Pat on the line, a.k.a. Pat Riley. What's good?
Daddy Pat.
Yo, this is Soldier Pat on the line, sponsored by Herpes and Old English and Steel Reserve and kite roll-up tobacco. And some Chiwis from the Ninth Ward of New Orleans. Hey, just doing my thing, you know what I mean? Like you said, you heard me. We got one of the artists from one of the greatest groups of all time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about Quavo from the Migos. I'm playing, man. Look, anybody that truly knows me, man, everybody knows I'm a New Orleans head. I fuck with New Orleans heavy. You heard me, but everybody knows I'm from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's in a weird spot. We're kind of Midwest. We're kind of South, but we're technically the East Coast. We're kind of, we're kind of a little everything. We got a little Crip culture there, so we got the West Coast culture, but we're from the East, and everybody knows me. I'm a hip-hop head to the death of me, and everybody knows, like, my favorite MC of all time. I would never be able to say anybody's ever better than Kool G Rap. However, people know me that everybody has their own thing. There's your KRS guys, there's your Rakim guys, Kane, blah, blah, blah. Like, everybody has their own people, but everybody knows, like, I'm a J guy. I'm a Tragedy guy. I'm a Capone guy before I'm a Nori guy, which is crazy. I love both of them, but people that know me know, like, I listen to Capone a lot. But when it comes to the Juice Crew and when it comes to the East Coast, and everybody knows me, I'm a G-Rap IU guy. I'm a GrandDaddy IU. I've always fucked with IU. I'm a Cold G rap GrandDaddy IU guy, and like I will die on that hill that Cold G rap and GrandDaddy IU are the best rappers in the Juice Crew. I love Master Ace, and everybody knows I love MC Shan. He's next in line for me. MC Shan's my brother. I love MC Shan. He's a friend, one of the few people I've interviewed that I can call my friend. And I love everybody in the Juice Crew. I love Roxanne. I love Bid. I love everybody. However, everybody knows I'm a G-Rap and I'm an IU guy. So if I'm not mistaken, IU's on the line right now. Let's bring this motherfucking legend on the show right now. GrandDaddy IU. Long Island's fucking finest.
That's right.
My God, IU. My God, man. Man, I'm so happy to have you back, bro. Like, man, I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people, brother. You were always one of my favorite interviews, and me and you just kind of clicked the last time I had you on. I hope you remember it. But when I brought you on, man, like it just kind of wasn't an interview. Me and you just kind of talked, and we were just having a conversation. And I kind of kept in touch with you this whole time, man, and I just, you were always one of my favorite guests, bro, and that meant a lot to me because I felt that I felt you recognized my authenticity and knew that you weren't just like the first guy that responded to me, so I had you on the show. Like, it meant something to me to have you on the show because I almost got in a fist fight in like 7th grade on the school bus because somebody said the KRS was better than you. And that's everybody's right to feel that their favorite rapper is better than the next guy. However, I'm not letting nobody disrespect you. I'm not letting anybody say that you don't got the talent. If somebody wants to say that you don't got the hit records or whatever, that's fine. But if somebody listened to your music, I will never let anybody disrespect you if they actually know what they're talking about because your shit is raw. The talent level.
They obviously don't know what the fuck they talking about.
And look, like, one thing I want to make clear, like, real quick, let's clear this up real quick. I want to make one thing clear. All right, so when I see links all the time about, I don't mean to attack Drake. He's not my kind of guy, not my kind of MC or anything like that. However, and I respect everything he does, man. Like, I don't really hear him saying that he's the best MC in the world or anything, but like, and I respect what he does. He knows how to make a hit record, and that takes some talent, that takes some respect and all that. But when you start saying things like, oh, he has more hits on the billboards than Michael Jackson, or more hits than Biggie, more hits than Joe. Okay, let's get one thing fucking clear. Back in the day, you can't have every fucking song hit the billboards unless you released it on a single. So there's no way for you to fucking measure how many times I played Takeover on my way to school or how many times I played Song Cry or anything like that. So, like, the only songs that you could actually make hit the charts were the songs that you released as singles. So you couldn't have 15 songs off your album hit the charts because that's just not how it works. You released, you released an A-side and a B-side, and then you released your album, and that was it. So, like, I'm not hating on anybody's accomplishments but I'm just saying it's not fair to compare this era to the next era. If I wanted GrandDaddy IU's album when I was a kid, I had to go cut my neighbor's grass, get the money, beg my mama to take me to the record store, buy the fucking album. There's no way to measure how many times I listened to track fucking 7 on the cassette tape. So it was impossible for track 7 to go fucking platinum or to hit the chart. It was impossible. You weren't, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how things work. And I want people to make that clear. And also, another thing, and another thing that I want to make clear to people is, if you heard somebody in 1992 and you thought that he sounded like somebody from 1991, that didn't necessarily mean the guy from 92 was biting off the 91 guy. Depending on what label you worked at, labels had a way of doing things. They released one person at a time and all that. And the reason I say that is because I know that there was always that thing about My Melody by Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim, and your shit, and people compared that with you. And I'm not saying that anybody copied anything or anybody bit anything, but I'm just saying that you can't say because like Eric B. and Rakim's album came first now that you copied their shit. Because that's not how things work. Anybody that, especially if you grew up on the East, everybody knows that if you sign to a label, your shit might not come out for 3 years. They gotta release, they gotta release G-Rap, and they gotta release Craig G, and they gotta release Max. Like they got a long list of people. They go one at a time. So it's not today's world to where you just put out a song and your label releases it. No. There's somebody that could come out 4 years before you that's actually biting your shit. And I'm not, in no way am I saying that Rakim bit your shit at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying, though, like, people can't say that and then just say, like, oh, well, Rakim came out first, so IU was copying out them. Because, in my opinion, My Melody and your shit, I don't really see the resemblance. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Right. Me either.
I think that they're just two different animals, and I look at both of you guys as just supreme MCs. I don't even connect the two. I just know that there is an argument out there of those two records, like of that record and your shit. But personally, I don't see it personally. I think that your shit stands on its own. I think that your shit's its own thing. I think like I said, I'm not sleeping on Rakim. I'm not hating on him at all. I love Rakim. I think he's great. He deserves all the flowers he gets. However, the reason why I love Nori, because Nori always said, because the first time I heard Nori, it reminded me of you. And I will always love Nori for saying, yeah, I'm a little bit Biz, I'm a little bit IU. And he doesn't have to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have to say that. But I could hear it, and like when he said that on Drink Champs, it like validated me as a hip hop head. I was like, oh, okay, like I'm not crazy, because like I always heard a little GrandDaddy IU and Nori. Yeah, like it validated my thoughts, because like I love Nori, I love CNN, but like I love Capone. Like Capone's my guy. I love his solo shit. I love CNN, all that. But when I first heard Nori, I'm like, man, I hear a lot of GrandDaddy IU in this shit, because, like, to me, Smooth Assassin is criminally underrated. I think Smooth Assassin belongs in the talks of being a landmark hip-hop album, because I just feel like a lot of people, and, like, I don't think G-Rap gets the credit he deserves either. That Illmatic wouldn't be Illmatic if it wasn't for Cool G-Rap. It just wouldn't be. You know what I mean? And I feel that Smooth Assassin is one of those albums that if that wasn't where it was and the level that it was at, I think a lot of New York guys, on like the creativity of that album, the lyricism of that album, the content of that album, I think that late, and like I always say, like this is one thing I always say, there's two albums that I feel that don't get the credit for what they deserve. I feel that it's your album, and I feel Nature's For All Seasons album. I think that like when you hear people like Currency and Wiz Khalifa and all those rappers today, I feel that For All Seasons by Nature is a big reason why those artists are able to exist. But I always say that Smooth Assassin and that album, the Nature album, are the reasons why a lot of these guys exist and were able to find their own lane. You guys laid the blueprint. So I don't mean to talk your ear off, IU, but you're just one of those guys. I respect the fuck out of you, bro. Like, and you know I do. And
man, it's like giving appreciation.
I want you to know that this isn't, hey, you answered my DM, so I'm gonna act like I like you. No, bro. Like, we had an interview 4 years ago, and you know I rock with you heavy. But I want people to know that, look, man, you're not just some rapper to me, man. Like, you're a legend to me, and I want you to know that, like, I know what your music meant to the growth of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, the growth of hip hop would not have went the route it went if it wasn't for what you laid down. And you have a lot of legendary shit with you. I mean, the people you rubbed elbows with, man, like, just prove what I'm saying. I mean, you weren't some lightweight. You are a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, and I think that should be everybody's opinion. So I think we just played a song with you a couple years ago, man. I just want to give a quick shout out to my guy, AG the Coroner. You and him did Feeling Like Diddy, man. Bro, I think AG the Coroner is the modern day GrandDaddy IU. He's lyrical as hell. He has great music, and people that know him know. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that know him know. That's my guy too, man. And we're gonna have him on the show here shortly, I have a feeling. But that was a great song. But anyway, IU, I'm sorry to talk your ear off and everything today, man. But how's it going, man? What you got going on nowadays, man? What you up to nowadays?
We just dropped the joint, man. It's called Rumble. It's featuring me, my man Shorty Shy, and my guy Drawzilla on the hook. Produced by K Slugger from Sweden. Yeah. And for that, right now, I just checked Hip Hop God, Chuck D radio station. I got a feature on Paula Perry new joint called Trust Me, featuring me, and Amadeus, infamous Amadeus, #1 on Hip Hop God.
Oh wow, man!
Yeah.
And a few years ago, you did. A few years ago, you did a joint with Diamond D. That the game. Man, if I told people that came out in 1992 or 2022. That they would believe me, man. That was such a timeless joint that I don't think it could ever get enough credit, man. Like that was such a great joint, and like that's the one talent that I think you have that people don't give you credit for, is you always rise to the occasion. You understand, like when Diamond D sends you a joint, you know you're not just supposed to rhyme 16 bars together. You understand what it is, and you understand that, like, hip-hop heads are going to listen to this. And even if 100 people hear this song, those 100 people were the people that it was directed to. And, you know, those 100 people are going to respect it. And I tell this to people all the time because, like, I mean, I've had a lot of people that have went platinum and, you know, gold and all that. Like, I've had a lot of huge guests on the show, but I always tell people that, like, that might not be multi-platinum superstars on the show. And I always tell them, like, look, man, that's kind of more important that your music reached who it was supposed to reach. And the people that it was intended for appreciate. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, I mean, we've seen the collapse of a lot of platinum superstars that, you know, no disrespect to Ja Rule or anything, because I actually have respect for Ja Rule, but Ja Rule was a guy that got big when something, well, you know, he didn't have that many loyal fans, so when something else newer and better they thought came along, they threw him, they threw his CD out the window and moved on with their lives. That, you know, but with people like, I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, that's kind of the truth,
like
though, you know.
Story. They treated him like that's what the fans were. They was like they treated him like Buzz Lightyear and Woody. And they saw Buzz Lightyear that's 50.
With GrandDaddy IU, like I used to listen to GrandDaddy IU, Smooth Assassin in my Walkman while I was smoking weed on my way to school in this field. I used to listen to Smooth Assassin smoking weed. On one side, I had Smooth Assassin. On the other side, I had MC Shan or G-Rap. And I just labeled everything Cold Chillin' or Juice Crew. But here I am in 2022. Me interviewing you is like me interviewing, Nas or Jay-Z to somebody else, man. Like, you're somebody that, like, I always respected as a top-tier MC and stuff. So it's like, that's why I always want you guys on the show, because I want you to know, like, your music reached who it was supposed to reach. And it don't matter if you sold 10 million records or 10 records. The 10 records that you sold, those 10 people love your shit, and it reached the people it was supposed to meet. And I respect the fact that you never made the, move your elbow song. You know what I mean? Like, you never went the simple route, because all that shit's so simple, man. Like, you could just have the repetitive hook with the bullshit lines, have a hit record, and, like, you're talented enough to stand toe-to-toe with the top lyricists in the game. So, like, you could have easily made a simple club record. You know what I'm saying? But, so, your music reached the people it was supposed to reach. And, here I am in 2022 interviewing you as somebody that I've always held in high regard. Everybody that knows me knows, like, when it comes to the Juice Crew, I was always, I love MC Shan. Don't get me wrong, Shan's a friend of mine. But I was always a G-Rap, GrandDaddy IU guy. I have respect for Biz. I respect the whole crew. I love the whole crew. Master Ace, I think it's supremely talented. Kane, of course, everybody. But my shit was G-Rap and IU, And let's take it back a little bit, man, because of course we lost Biz Markie recently, man. Rest in peace to Biz Markie. But if I'm not wrong, he's the one that. Of course, I know you guys might have had a little complicated relationship over the years and stuff. So when I posted that I was interviewing you, people, for one, everybody wants me to ask you about the fucking the Big Mama record. People want me to ask you about that shit. I know you talked about it a million fucking times. You don't have to talk on it.
What's about it? I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? It did what it did. It caused some controversy. What else?
I told everybody, man. He's like, the information's out there. I don't know what you guys want me to ask about it, but
if they got specific questions, I answered the shit.
Yeah, and none of them did, and I responded to all of them. And I said, "Is there something you want me to specifically ask about it?" Like, GrandDaddy is a legend. His story's out there. I don't know what you want me to ask, and nobody responded. Just ask me, just say, what about the Big Mama? And it's like, this is why you guys don't have radio shows. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just say this. You know what I mean? But everybody wanted to ask me about your relationship with Biz Markie, because they felt that there was some turmoil there and everything. So if you don't want to answer any questions about it, that's fine. I personally do not know your feelings about Biz Markie, but I do want to say rest in peace to Biz Markie. But
what? Now we had squash, whatever. It wasn't no actual beef. Like, it wasn't no physical, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just, I just felt that he did some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He could have told me what, you know what I'm saying, what the get down was with the half of the publishing and all that shit, and let me decide. You know what I'm saying? He just did his shit.
Oh, okay.
And I found out when the check came. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah. But we had settled that shit before he passed, before he went to the hospital. The last time I actually saw him. You know what I'm saying? That Westbury Music. So that shit ain't about nothing.
And one thing about it, GrandDaddy, first off, man, I mean, this is an honor to have you on the show, man, to have one of the golden era platinum status, MCs of an era that we not only grew up in, but we relish, we celebrate, we rever, we cherish, we honor, we respect. And you are one of the stalwarts, one of the stand tall individuals of that. When you look at the game from how you started, because like what Pat and King was saying about how, you know, there were certain metrics, the game back in the day was really built off of talent. It was built off of tenacity. It was built off determination. It was built off authenticity. You really, really had to have something where your music was going to not only get out there, but it was going to get out there and impact and then become indelible to where people had to say that, yo, son official with it. When you look back at those times, especially being part of such a distinguished crew with such a legendary pedigree of MCs with it, what was the energy like during that time in that era that made it so golden?
Because I think at that time, we really loved the music. You know what I'm saying? These niggas don't love the music. They just doing it to get a check right now. They doing it for clout. They doing, you know what I'm saying? It's different now. We ain't had social media. It wasn't on this flossing all this fucking Gucci. We had Gucci, but it wasn't like these motherfuckers. Like everything is just.
Shout out to Dapper Dan for hooking y'all up.
Yeah. That was a good look for him. But nah, it was like we actually had love for the music, man. You know what I'm saying, these niggas don't love that shit. They just that's why they don't take time with they songs. You know what I'm saying? No lyricism, no creativity. Niggas just do whatever to make something so they can get a check and get, you know what I'm saying, get famous. We ain't do, you know what I'm saying? We actually cared about the craft of the shit. You know what I'm saying? So
that actually. Yeah. Go ahead, T-Mac. Go ahead. All I wanted to say was, I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this messy at all, but all I wanted to say, IU, is
go ahead.
how aware were you that while you were making music and everything, like, did you understand at the time that while you were laying shit down that you understood that, like, okay, we got Master Ace, we got Big Daddy Kane, we got Cold G Rap. I mean, Cold Chillin' alone, I mean, you guys had Jizza, you guys had so many guys that ended up being legends and everything like that. So, like, while you were making music, like, as being a part of that crew, did you understand that, like, while you were in the middle of doing it, did you understand that this was, like, Hall of Fame type shit? Did you guys understand that, like, I'm a part of hip-hop royalty, or were you just making music just for the hell of it? Did you understand, like, how important it was at that time?
Nah, not at all. I was doing it because I love to do it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing it for money or none of that shit. I wasn't looking at it as a business. You know what I'm saying? None of that. I was just doing it because this is what I love to do. It was my passion.
That's insane. That's insane, man. Like, you had no idea that while you were making those albums and making that music, you had no idea that 30 years from now I'm going to be asking you about it.
Hell no, I couldn't see that far. If I could have, I would have saved every piece of memorabilia that I ever had, all that shit. I gave all that shit away. I don't got nothing.
Because, like, you are aware.
Museums and shit like that, I would have saved up. Come on, man.
and let's be clear, like, you are aware that, like, Smooth Assassin is something that, like, there is a group of people that look at Smooth Assassin as Illmatic, Reasonable Doubt, The Chronic. There is people that hold it in that regard. Like, are you aware of that? Like, are you aware of, like, what you mean to people?
Now I'm becoming aware of this shit. Like, before I don't know, like, Black Robert told me that's his favorite album. You know what I'm saying? Nori and all that shit, but it just ain't sinking. It's just now starting to sink in.
Okay. Well, that's good, because, I mean, that's kind of the point of me having you on the show, because I wanted you to understand that 20 years ago I felt that way about your music. that
Okay.
I felt like, okay, like I don't care if this was made in 2002, 2012, 2022, 1992. Like I hope that you understood what you did and the lyricism you had, the content you had, and then as time went on, and you know, I don't want to. I'm not the kind of guy that jacks off other people's shows, but you you have a deep history with like Tretch and Tupac and everything, and you gave some classic interviews with Doggy Diamonds, and I just want to give Doggy Diamonds a shout out. Doggy Diamonds is one of the reasons. He's one of the reasons why I quit a few years ago, because I never planned on doing interviews. I like the old show that I was on. They told me to he kept telling me to call in just as a fan, and I ended up calling in on like the 300th episode, and then like that just like kind of led to me like being in on interviews, and that led to me booking interviews and all that. So then I started to take it serious and wanted to like actually like gain the skill of being an interviewer. And then like I just realized one day like I saw his interview with Max B in Harlem, and I was just like, oh, I'm never gonna have that interview with Max B in Harlem. Like Doggy Diamonds is better than me, and I have no shame in saying that. And I think that my co-hosts are great at what they do, and I joined them for a reason, because I think they're great at what they do. But I just want to tip my hat to Doggy Diamonds real quick, because I feel that he's a one-of-a-kind talent. I think that he's a trailblazer, and I think that he's a pioneer. And I hope that people understand what he has done for people, and I hope that he understands that he's a Hall of Famer in his own right. And absolutely. With you know, he's just somebody like there's two people that I feel like what I do, I wouldn't be what I am if it wasn't for two people, and that's him. And believe it or not, it's Dr. Dre of Yo MTV Raps. I just feel that what Dr. Dre and Ed Lover did back in the day, anybody that does any kind of hip-hop interviews, they're the ones that provided personality, and they always kept the culture in mind and always wanted to make it fun, make it interesting. They were able to handle drama. They were able to do all that in the one. And, yeah, I hate to take part of your interview, IU, and just give those guys respect. I just want to salute to Dr. Dre. I hope, I hope, you know, I hope he's in good health. I know he's having some health problems as of late, but I hope Dr. Dre is in great health. But, again, I tip my hat to Doggy Diamonds, because he had a great interview with you. And in no way am I trying to capitalize off of his interview at all. But, you were a part of the most legendary part of hip-hop in general. I mean, like, you know, you have a story with Tretch and Tupac and all that. And what was it like for you to be in the mix of just, like, when you look back at this time, like, if you say, like, I'm not that big of a Tupac fan, that's just going to go viral today. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the only sentence you say. Like, that's how, like, insane that time period was. Like, so, like, what was it like to just be in a mix of all of that? And, like, what is one thing that you take away from all that? Because we see all these guys now, like these young kids, like they get wrapped up in RICO cases. Some of them don't make it. They get themselves in beef and all that. And, like, you know, this is nothing new for us. I mean, you know, we see what happened. You know, we just seen Young Thug and Gunna. We've seen Casanova take a deal, and then we've seen, you know, Nipsey die.
Yeah, see, the difference between them and us, they killing each other. Like, we wasn't killing each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Biggie got killed. Tupac got killed. But both of them, that was not actually fucking rap related.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you think about it too,
other dumb shit.
Yeah, and when you think about it too, GrandDaddy, Yeah, and when you think about it too, Granddaddy, one thing about it is that you all came up in a time where there seemed to be a very clear line that defined the streets and the music. And while there were well-publicized beats, of course, LL and, of course, Kool Moe Dee, even LL and Ice-T got into it for a little bit. There was never any instance of what we felt would be any imminent danger of bodily harm. It's like on one hand, they knew that this was at the end of the day strictly lyrical and music-oriented, but they also knew from real street reputations with individuals, not only with the artists themselves, because we know Ice-T is really with the shit. Shout out to our West Coast heads who told us some stories about how Ice got down in the streets. But they also knew not only with those artists themselves, but the people that they roll with, that there could be consequences and repercussions if somebody got out of pocket. As an artist, as a veteran, as an elder, where do you think it started changing in the culture where a lot of artists began to not only start embracing beat, but celebrating it and even inviting drama and danger, that was derelict to their careers in the, direction of trajectory going up?
I think that was like maybe in the late 90s it started, I believe. You know what I'm saying? The late 90s, because any rap beef, like in the early 90s, it was just, when I see him, it's on. Saying we gonna fight. Never that.
Right.
It wasn't about, yo, I'm gonna shoot this nigga and all the rest of that. You know what I mean? That started coming later. You get your ass whooped. You get your ass whooped. That's it. Right. But it wasn't social media then. So maybe if you got your ass whooped and everybody could see the shit and keep snapping on you, making memes about it, maybe you would have led. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it would have led to, more serious repercussions after that. But we just fought. That's it. There wasn't no gunplay.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of situations we off the record in terms of people. We know about some of the fights that we between artists, that happen off stage, off the cameras. In terms of it. So it was always something where but by conversely speaking, even if it was not seen, the reputations were made loud and clear. Even with artists, we never necessarily got out there. I mean, shout out to Rakim. It's like Rakim is one of the GOATs in the game, but even then, there is still this aura of mystery.
Rakim got hands.
But it's like there's an aura of mystery around him. Like there was all types of stuff speculated about him, in terms of, some of it we can't talk about on the show. But,
right.
But but it's like he really had that. But there was a real reputation around Rakim that like nobody tested him, lyrically or otherwise.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of have to disagree with that, T-Max.
Okay.
I don't think that maybe people might not have dissed him directly or even subliminally. However, I felt that there was people that felt that, okay, like Rakim releases an album and they think that he's getting praised as the top of the game and all that, which he definitely deserves. But I also felt that his peers were also releasing albums to prove that they're on his level. Now, whether they got that, maybe they didn't diss him or even subliminally, but I feel that people maybe have heard Rakim's album and thought like, okay, he's getting all this praise, and Rakim's great, and I don't think anybody would argue with that in any kind of way. But I don't know. Let's ask IU. But I think at that time when you're recording your album, I don't think that you felt like you were less than Rakim. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct.
And I don't feel like that you had any hatred towards him in any way, but I felt that you. I think if you listen to Rakim's album and you listen to Smooth Assassin, like I said, I don't think that you felt like, oh, fuck Rakim. I just think that maybe you felt like, yo, I can do that too. I'm just as nice, if not better. Am I correct?
Right, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
What was the thing?
And I feel a lot of people felt that way, but I always felt like you didn't get the proper shake, IU. I mean, for real, IU. I always felt like you didn't get the proper shake. I talked to Sincere about this before. Shout out to Sincere. That's my guy. And that's who I mean, every time I post your stuff, he comments and stuff, and I always talk with him too. But I always feel like people today always have that, like, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One conversation. But personally, I feel like G-Rap's better than all of them. And I feel that I feel that everybody's missing out and not including you in that conversation, because people don't understand how the record business was, the rap industry was back then, that, if you signed a deal with somebody, like, you might be fourth on the fucking roster. So, like, your shit might not come out for 2 years after you sign a deal, or 3 years after that. So, like, an album that comes out in 1990, you have to compare an album that comes out in 1993 to that album that came out in 1990, because that's how things worked back then. They had, like, a structure of how things went. So, like, I don't think it's fair to just compare a 1990 artist to a 1990 artist. Like, it just depends on what label you were on and when things were coming out and everything. But I think Smooth Assassin belongs in every one of those conversations. I think that you deserve to be in every one of those conversations as who was the best. And like I said, I call G-Rap the greatest lyricist of all time, because I call him that because he's the only person that I can honestly say has made impressive shit. He has spit impressive lyrical shit in 5 decades. Yeah, he did it in 5 decades. He did it in the 80s, 90s, 2010s, 2000. I mean, like, if you go and listen to Return of the Dawn, he released that in, like, 16, 17, something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there was only one song on there that was just him, but every other song, like, my favorite song on that shit was Running with Terminology in Saigon, but he had Conway on it, Freeway, Little Fame, Nori. He had a bunch of people on it, but I kind of felt that was just, like, his way of showing, like, look, like, all these guys are dope MCs, and I can still hang with them, and I'm 50-something years old, and whatever. I can still hang with them, and I just kind of feel like I heard a rumor that this is his last album coming out, like, soon, this coming soon, and I just kind of feel that, I like Saigon on that song on Return of the Dawn says, like, is it me or is nobody better than G? And they never could be. And I respect that bar, because I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't care who you think the best MC is. I don't care who you think the best MC is or anything, but you have to respect the fact that, like, I can come, no matter what MC you name, I can come at you with an argument for G-Rap that you can't really deny. And I feel that you get slept on a little bit just because of the time. I think that the way hip-hop was evolving at the time and all that, and the crew you were a part of and all that, because, like, we all heard the stories about how, like, Russell Simmons thought Nas was just a baby G-Rap at the time and didn't really want to fuck with him and all that.
Yeah,
and everything was kind
of missed on that one. Ooh.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't blame it. I mean, hip hop was young at the time, and like when we look, like, hindsight's 2020. When we look back on things, we look like, wow, how could they be so stupid? But however, hip hop was a young thing at the time. You got to remember that, like, they weren't honoring hip hop at the Grammys at the time, and So a lot of those like labels were like trying to make smart decisions at the time. So like they hear a young Nas and stuff, and they're like, yeah, he's good, but man, I don't know if we can really. So like, you know, if some, you know, in 1992, that wasn't really a dumb move. But when we look at it in 2022, we're like, well, what a bunch of idiots. But like, nah, like you gotta look at the sign of the times. So like, I kind of feel like. Yeah, exactly. So I look at your album, IU, as Smooth Assassin, as I kind of feel like it dropped in a weird time to where we were transitioning between, you know, the G-Raps, Kane, KRS, all that stuff. We were transitioning from that era to the Nas and Wu-Tangs and Jay-Z's, and then the West Coast came out. And I kind of feel like you just kind of, you know, I just feel like your album dropped in the middle of a time of uncertainty to where, like, if it came a little earlier, even a little later, that people would have actually realized what it was. Because if I send that album to anybody, there's not one person that has any kind of taste for hip-hop that can say that that's not a great fucking album. Because it's a great album. And, you know, I don't think it gets to I think in, you know, in today's world, like maybe it dropped at the wrong time or something. Like, I don't really know how to put my finger on it, but if you listen to it in context, I feel that it's one of the better albums that came out in that era. And I don't know if you remember our last interview or not, IU, but like, you know how much I feel about that album. I love that album. Like that album means a lot to me, and people know that. Like I said, like I'm a G-Rap IU guy, and I love Nori because he's always gave that respect to Biz and you for what he is. And when I first heard Nori, I heard IU in him, and then like when I heard him shout you out, I was like, great. Like, I'm so happy that he gave that respect to you because, for one, Long Island is the slept-on. Like that's the slept-on pocket of New York. The people, you know, everything's Queens, Brooklyn, Harlem, and, you know what I mean? Like, they don't look at how insanely talented. I mean, like I don't know of a whack rapper. I don't know of
Pete Rock.
I don't know of a whack rapper from Long Island. I don't know of a whack one. You know what I mean? Like, you can go through every borough and every little city, you know, every little neighborhood in New York, and you can pick out a whack MC from every little area. But can you name me a whack MC from Long Island?
Not none. I'm doing my Google.
I don't think anybody can.
When you look at that time, IU, when you look at that time, IU, from the pedigree of where you came from, when you think about the music, and everybody, all your contemporaries at that time, and all the classic material that came at that point, like Pat said, King was saying, this was a young time because, from when we look at it in earnest, because of course Def Jam was the first label that really, of course, there was Sugar Hill Records, Shot at Sylvia Rome with the Sugar Hill Gang. But Def Jam with Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons were the two that really made Def Jam the exclusive outlet for hip-hop music, of course, with LL being their first act. When you first saw LL come through and then at 15 years old, and then you all would come later, as y'all moved throughout the business, what were you all learning as you all came along about the business, about how music was made, about how to perform, the studio regimen?
Shit. We wasn't learning shit. They wasn't trying to teach us shit. That was the thing, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't. I don't know what they was doing at Def Jam or that culture. There was no artist. There was no artist development. It was none of that shit. It was like, all right, we send you on a promotional tour. On here. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It was none of that shit. It was no grooming. None of that shit. It wasn't nobody. Well, I don't know what they did, what Todd did with the earlier people. When I was there, none of that shit was going on.
Do you think because of that made it all the more authentic and raw with the fact that you all were coming in and you had that visceral kind of approach where it wasn't polished, it was authentic, it was not about, the roughing out smoothing out the rough edges. It was like, yo, I'm here and I'm here to blaze it.
That shit would have took everybody's career further if they would have,
mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, would have had the artist development and coaching you, or social media training, social training, whatever. I call it social media training now, but they ain't have social media then. But like interviews,
right.
like media training, not social media
right.
training, but media training. You know what I'm saying? We do interviews and all that. There was none of that. So we do interviews, we fucking cursing people out. We was wild in off the street, because you just send us. They just send us somewhere on a promotional tour. So we go to all state to state. We don't know nobody. We have no etiquette. We just whatever. What's going on with this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Look, the decorum's thrown out the window, all that.
Yeah, all that shit gone. You know what I mean? But it was like a time when I got in trouble for throwing a chair at a promotion person.
Oh Lord!
We on the road. We doing in stores. I go to the store. They don't got my record is not in the front just to be seen nowhere. It's not featured nowhere. I'm like, yo, where my shit at? I'm with the promotion person. I'm asking him, where my shit at? He's telling me he ain't got no answer. He like, dabba. Nigga, no. You know what I'm saying? This is the only way I know how, you know what I'm saying, to react at this time.
Right.
I'm not knowing that. Okay, when you get back to the Sony building, everybody know now it's all this bullshit. Now I'm hard to work with. What the fuck is this? Oh yeah,
but
man.
It's what? But you all came all along at a time in terms of hip hop being young at that time. Where we're seeing all the elements really start coming together. All the influential figures. Like Pat was talking about with Dr. Dre and their lover. We had the original mayor of Rap City, Chris Thomas. We would see the store start in 1988. And then the video was about Uncle Ralph McDaniels. These are all people that become, staples in the business. What was that like as you all saw this begin to just like evolve?
Great question.
As far as what aspect?
Just in terms of where you're seeing the culture start getting covered in terms of it becoming something that is more than just a niche. It's actually becoming something that people recognize and respect.
This shit running the world right now. It's running the world. They can't sell. They can't market nothing without including some type of form of hip hop in it.
Yeah,
you can't sell a car. Nothing of that shit.
Right. And you all came along at a time. Man, look.
They don't weaponize it against us. They making so much money off of this shit. Like, come on, man. Come on. This shit is crazy. It gave so many people jobs, but the people that actually created this shit is the brokest motherfuckers.
Exactly, man. I tell people that all the time, man. Like, people pay attention to the guy that's rapping, and they don't pay attention to the team around him. Like, they don't understand that, like, dude, like, the guy that's rapping and making the mixtapes and the albums and stuff, like, yeah, that's the breadwinner. That's the guy that everybody pays attention to and stuff. But, like, they don't understand, like, how much that guy means to the guy that's, rolling his blunts or doing his grocery shopping or bringing his girlfriend to him.
The people that getting the money is the executives and the culture vultures and the people that's in these offices and all that. The bloggers that don't even like some of these bloggers. Like, where do they come from? podcasters and all that.
Man,
what is this dude
it's insane, bro.
I got to sign on this right quick here, and this is to build on what GrandDaddy IU was talking about. And I'm pretty sure he's been through this experience because I went through that myself when I was visiting some of these stations. And when you playing your music, you usually see some old out of touch looking white guy giving you the stamp of approval. It'd be wild to be, it'd be some young white girl like 16, 17 giving you the stamp of approval on what's hot in the streets. And that gave me like a culture shock, going by when I was
crazy.
Trying to pitch the show to different radio outlets, and I'm like, hold up, this girl's younger than me, and she's got the post to control this shit.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's wild, King, Pat, and GrandDaddy, because this reminds me of a situation, because what King just said, it reminds me, for those that know, who really, really deep in their history, about what Razzcast had talked about the issue he had a priority back in the day. In terms of of course, those that know that story about how he basically went on a run with his album with the issues that he had at the time. Of course, Soul on Ice, his debut album, was an undisputed classic. And of course, his second album, Rassassination, was a more commercially polished, but still good, but not to meet the level of Soul on Ice. But he talked about how, his label, he was basically saying, this is, Raz said that this is a old Jewish white man who's telling me how to rap. You know what I'm saying? I know how I can rap. I know how to rap. But somebody's telling me how I should be doing my job when I'm better at it.
Right.
When you look at that as an artist, GrandDaddy, when you're thinking about where the control started to get taken from us, we've all shared this lament, not necessarily from an angry perspective, because anger is right when justified and directed for on principle and a solution. Misdirected anger is angry because all it is just noise. But we do have concerns, and have had it for a long time, about where we've seen the music go in terms of people, as you all said so poignantly and directly, about we got people who are not of the culture who are telling us how to dress, how the music should sound, how we should market ourselves. What are your feelings on this right now in terms of where we see certain directions come in and certain gimmicks being employed that are masqueraded as talent, but more than it is just a lot of sensationalism?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, we ain't do it for that. We did it because we love the music. They not doing it for that. They doing it as a come up. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why they accept direction from people who not of the culture. You know what I'm saying? How can you direct me? This is hip hop is a way of life. First and foremost.
Speak on it.
These people don't live that life. You know what I'm saying? They don't come from where we come from. They don't go back to where we go back to. You know what I'm saying? So how the fuck can they dictate to us what's hot and what's not? This is why everything is off balance. Motherfuckers is looking funny, dressing crazy and shit, dressing like broads and all this European fashion, tight clothes. This shit crazy. This not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, this nigga's 6ix9ine snitching. They trying to normalize snitching and make that shit the fucking move now through this clown ass. Yo, shit, boy, I got money. Y'all should snitch like me and get money. What the fuck?
Exactly. Pay attention. Pay attention to when 6ix9ine snitches. Pay attention to when he did that until today, and look how many people were indicted since then. It's an insane percentage. Like, I'm not saying nobody got in trouble before him, but since 6ix9ine did that, came home, and still is active. I mean, because we all know, dude, like, you don't have to drop albums anymore. You can drop one song and just talk shit on somebody, but if you have a social media presence, like, you're going to be popping regardless. So, like, you know,
not more than music.
so if you look at the percentage of how many people were hit since 6ix9ine Snitch, it's an insane amount, and it's it's crazy. And one thing I want to make clear to people is, because you know the lyrics to a rap song, or you know a lot about your favorite rapper, that doesn't mean you're of the fucking culture. That means you're a fan of a rap artist or music. Now, you know,
the rap
that's the fact. There's a lot of things. Look, like, I've been to prison. I've been locked up, like, almost half my life, and that's unfortunate. I hate that about myself. Like, I hate that I can't do certain things in my life, because, I mean, I'm going to be 36 next month. There's certain things that I can't, like, if my goal when I was a senior in high school was to work at a gas station for the rest of my life, you would think, like, I was a lame for saying that, right? Well, I can't even get that job now. That's how bad that I fucked up in my life. So, I want people to understand that. Now, knowing the lyrics, too, is me knowing GrandDaddy IU doesn't make me of the fucking culture. That doesn't mean that. That means that I heard his CD and I fucking liked it and I memorized it. That's all that fucking means. Now, being part of the hip-hop culture and everything like that is to understand, for one, let me get one thing out of the fucking way. I don't give a fuck if you make a great fucking argument to why white people should be able to say the N-word if they're saying the lyrics to a fucking song. I don't give a fuck. For me, I'm a white guy, right? I never in my life have tried to justify using the N-word and by saying anything. You know what? I have no fucking urge to say that fucking word. And I don't understand why people want to use the fucking word. And let's be honest, I think white people had our fair share of fucking fun with any version of that fucking word over the years. I don't give a fuck if it makes sense or not. So if black people want to use that word and don't want to use it, I think it's okay for us to give them that one, guys. You know what I'm saying? But the other thing is why do you have such an urge to say that word in any form? Like, that's my own. I can make some intelligent argument to where I should be able to say that word if I'm saying song lyrics. I could make a great argument for that. However, why? Like, why do I want to say that word? I think I don't give a fuck if it makes sense or not. If there's 1 out of 10 million black people, if there's one person that has a problem with me saying that word, that's reason enough for me not to say that word. I don't say it. And I'm sure that black people don't really give a fuck if I'm driving alone in my car and I'm singing along to a song and if I say that word. I'm sure nobody gives a fuck if I do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gives a fuck if I do that. But, like, it's just about fucking respect. That's all it's about to me. We don't have to cut deeper than that. We don't have to cut deeper, like, take it back to the old, slavery times or racism times. We don't even have to back that far. It's just the fact that, like, hey, man, like, they're not comfortable with us saying that. Of course, white people. Yeah, it's 1,000,000,000% understandable. I think, like I said, I think white people have had their fun with that word for long enough. You know what I'm saying? Whether you use an ER or an A, I think white people have had their fun with that word. I think that any logical white person can understand why black people aren't comfortable with that. Now, from that, I want to say that just because you know a rap song or you're very familiar with a rap artist doesn't mean you're of the culture. Study the culture. Understand that hip-hop culture is not one thing. There's a New York culture, there's a Midwest culture, a South culture. There's 10 different cultures just in the South. There's fucking 10 different ones just in the West. 20 in the East, 20 in the Midwest. Just because you know the lyrics to a song does not make you of the fucking culture. And the reason why I say that is respect what you're about. Respect what you're stepping into. I know GrandDaddy IU does not give a fuck about what race I am. But if I tell him that I understand the bars he spits, the music he makes, the impact it has on what he was doing, the fact that he completed the goal that he was set out to accomplish and all that, he doesn't care what color I am. To let him know, hey, I appreciate the fact of what you've done in your life and what you've done for hip-hop culture. He doesn't care what color I am. Now, if I just learn the lyrics to his song and think that I know everything about hip-hop and all that, you can't just know GrandDaddy IU's lyrics and think you're of the culture. No. If I don't know anything about Cool G Rap, MC Shan, Juice Crew, if I don't know anything about those guys, knowing one album by GrandDaddy IU is kind of fucking pointless. I am not of the culture at that point. But the fact that, like, I love the culture and understand what GrandDaddy IU was doing on Smooth Assassin, and you have to understand the culture to understand how important that album is and how great that album is. That album is so much better when you understand the culture. That's what makes it special. Knowing the lyrics to a rap song does not mean you're of the fucking culture. And I want to make that clear. I mean, look, everybody knows me. I'm a huge East Coast fan, and I'm a New Orleans fan. I mean, I love Houston. I love Memphis. I love Detroit, Chicago, the Bay, Cali, Crenshaw, Compton. I love all that shit. I love a little bit of everything. Everybody knows I'm a big East Coast guy, and I'm a New Orleans guy. Me knowing the lyrics to a rap song does not fucking mean I'm of the culture. Being of the culture means you understand it and you fucking respect it. You respect it. You have to know your fucking place. And don't ever get too comfortable and think that me and IU, we've had now 2 great interviews together. I think that a year from now I can hit IU up and say, IU, look, I'm doing an East Coast appreciation episode, man. I need a legend on the show, man. Can you please come on? I can text and call. Exactly. I can text and call MC. These guys, my co-hosts know, I can text and call MC Shan any day of the fucking week. Because they know I'm of the culture. It's not because I know lyrics to their song. It's not because I have their album. It's because they know that I respect the culture that they represented. I understand what they've been through and all that. And I want everybody to understand that it's a culture. It's not about white and black. It's not about Asian, Middle East. It's not about color or anything. Understand that this is a black culture. It definitely is. And to understand that such a beautiful fucking culture, and especially a controversial culture that can be interpreted the wrong way, can excel to be the #1 genre in the fucking world. If you can wrap your mind around that, how beautiful that fucking is, and you're sitting here trying to fight as a white person to say the fucking N-word, you're a fucking clown. Like, if that's the one little minor thing that the culture asks of us white people, is like, hey, we just kind of don't really, and like, you know, if I said to you, IU, hey, what's up, my N-word, like, you know, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way, and but you know, like, I'm not saying it in a hateful way at all by any means. But you have every right to feel like it's like yo, bro, like you
like,
shouldn't be saying.
What the fuck you say?
Yeah, like you want, like you know, and like you know, I don't mean it in any hateful kind of way, but it's just
I wouldn't think that you would mean it like that, but still, just the fact that you said that shit to me, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, like you know, I don't mean it in a hateful way, but at the same time, you're like, I kind of like it better if you don't say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's all you got. Like that's all that people were asking for. Like, look, guys, it's not about white and black and Asian and all that. It's like, look, guys, when it comes to that word, it's just kind of not comfortable for us. That's all we're saying. And like, for some reason, there's a large group of white people fighting to say that fucking word. I don't know. I never
say that shit.
They're like my co-host, like Eric can talk to me here. Like me and him make jokes all the time. We make jokes all the time, like racial jokes and shit, and it's all in good fun. None of them are hateful or anything like that. But he knows damn well, no matter what, I won't even quote a song that's called that, just because if there's 10,000 people listening and there's one person that feels uncomfortable with me making that comment, that's reason enough for me not to say it. Like, it's not up to me to convince you to be okay with me saying it. I don't have any urge to say it. So, like, anybody that's sitting out there dying on that fucking hill to be able to say it, hey, bro, you're wrong in the first place, just for climbing up on that hill. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you didn't, like we all know, like, if only black people bought rap albums, like, rap wouldn't be popular. You know what I mean? Like, we all understand that. Like, we all need each other. And it's like, look, we're not trying to divide people or anything like that. And, like, it's just, if that's the hill you're trying to die on as a white person, to be able to say that word in a friendly manner, like, you're a clown. Like, just climb off the fucking hill. Go find a fire to take a nap in real quick. Because it's just a ridiculous thing for you to fucking fight for. Like, forever hip-hop, like, the Grammys used to not even acknowledge hip-hop as a genre. There's so many things to fight for hip-hop. And there's so many things that, like, white people could really help in the fight for hip-hop as far as recognition on a global level and everything. If the white people that fought for please let us say the N-word.
When I say they want to be hip-hop, they want to be like black, quote-unquote black people. They want to be like black
that's
people.
exactly what it is, bro. That's exactly what it is. They want to, if one black person lets them say that word around them, that's like giving them a gold medal. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, right. I've had black people that say, like, bro, like, we don't care if you say that. I still never said it around them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I just don't have any urge to say it. And
you heard
like,
you say it around them.
Well, no. I don't say it. I don't say it.
I around them.
Come on, man. You're trying to catch me up in some bullshit.
I caught you.
Yeah. All right, you caught me, but I'm just saying that, like, I never they wouldn't care if I said it. So, like, I don't.
I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I'm saying, though. Like they would be okay if I said it, and I still never said it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. Is, like, I don't understand the fight for. I don't understand the fight for white people to say it. Like, that's just what I don't understand. And, like, they try to tie that into hip hop culture somehow. Like, I'm telling you, there's a movement by white rappers that they feel that they should be allowed to say that, and, like, I just feel that that's insane. I feel like if that's your fight, like, what are you here for, bro? Like, why are you in the hip hop? Why are you trying to be a part of the hip hop culture? If that's the thing you're fighting for, is to be able to say that. Like, why do you have such an urge to say that? You know what I mean?
Right.
I just think that's insane, man. I don't know how we got on that topic, but I just want to make that clear to people that, like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to make that clear to people.
But you know what, though? It's a funny thing we got on that topic here because it just slipped. I had asked him this, too, because it slipped my mind for a minute. Now, I want to talk about this cut here, man. One of the greatest posse cuts ever, The Graveyard. Featuring you, Big L, up-and-coming Jay-Z, McGruff. Man, you got to let us know, man, what was the atmosphere like recording that, and what was it like being around all those type of caliber of MCs at that time?
Actually, at the time, I wasn't thinking about it like that. You know what I'm saying? It just was like, it's a whole bunch of motherfuckers in here, and everybody gonna fucking try to outdo the next motherfucker. We knew that. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo.
Okay.
Everybody came out with a bunch of pens and pads. Everybody a pen and a pad. Put the beat on.
Was that everybody's mentality, though? Was that everybody's mentality to outdo the next person?
I'm quite sure. Fuck. Everybody think they the nicest motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's what it was at the time in hip hop.
Of course, yeah, of course. So did you hear anything?
Everybody lyrics, they say they the best motherfuckers. I shot the most motherfuckers. I fucked the most bitches.
Did you have a close relationship to everybody there?
Huh?
Like, did you have a close relationship with everybody on that song? Did you know everybody personally before you did it?
Nah, not at all. Most of them, I was just seeing for the first time that night. Like Party Artie, I never met him before that. Microphone Nut, I met him that night. I knew Buck Wild, I knew Big L, I knew Lord Finesse. I didn't know Jay-Z, but I knew Jay-Z from Kane bringing him around because he used to open up shows for Kane and shit like that. I don't even know who else was on the joint. I don't remember.
What was it?
McGraw,
It was Lord Finesse and...
Huh?
Big Nut.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
what was it like at that time? Yeah. What was it like at that time, man? I mean, because it seemed like back in the day, even with features on an album, I mean, that was something that, to a degree, even when we heard it, we didn't expect all of that. It was like some records you would hear, like, you didn't even know the guests were on it until you heard it. But also it seemed like at that time, too, with collaborations and features, it was organic. It wasn't like, okay, we're going to do this to sell records. It was like, nah, because it felt right that we got these people on it, and that's why we did it.
Right. It's like nothing was planned. Like I said, that night when we got there, they put the beat on and just gave everybody a pencil and a pad. Do your shit right
so
here.
Once you heard that joint, did you hear anything from anybody that you thought like, oh shit, this person's nice, they're gonna go places?
I was there. I was like, yeah, this motherfucker nice. Everybody on that joint was nice. Everybody. Period.
Yeah, everybody was nice on that. Everybody was nice on that. Now, I wanted to clear one thing up because people always argue with me on this shit. I'm a part of a cold chillin' Juice Crew group on Facebook and shit, and when I posted the promo for this joint on, I posted a promo, the flyer for this in that group, and I was like, I got Juice Crew member GrandDaddy IU on the show, and people calling, he's not Juice Crew, he's not this, blah, blah, blah. Can you clear that up for me? I already know the answer, but can you please clear that up for everybody?
Absolutely, man. Come on, man. How motherfuckers are still trying to say that shit after all this time? Yes, absolutely yes. You know what I'm saying?
You're a Juice Crew.
Matter of fact, I ain't gonna say that shit. Matter of fact,
look, you don't even have to say it. Cool G Rap said it. Cool G Rap said you were. If Cool G Rap tells me tomorrow is Christmas, Then I'm buying you a present today, Merry Christmas.
Mr. Magic put me in the motherfucker. Mr. Magic put me in it. Mr. Magic is the fucking Sir Juice. That's why it's called his fucking Juice Crew, because he's Sir Juice. But that's Magic's crew. Magic said IU was down. Period. Dot. Who the fuck can say I'm not? Nobody.
Now, IU, before I let you go, I am going to give you the floor. I am going to give you the floor and let you plug whatever you got going on and all that. But I respect you as one of the greatest MCs of all time.
Appreciate that.
I feel that I honestly feel like that. You know that, and you know that.
I know.
This isn't just because you answered my messages. Like, and shout out to Sincere. Me and Sincere have had several conversations about you, and I honestly believe that, I rank you very, very high on the list of the nicest people, especially from that era. Now, I have to ask you though, IU. I need your top 5, man.
Coochie Rap #1.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that so much. Go ahead. Doesn't even matter who else you said.
I always say that shit. Sony G. Grandmaster Caz. Nas. Jay-Z.
Are you Nas or Jay-Z?
Yeah, I left out Rakim. I left out Biggie.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Gun to your head,
Black
Nas
Thought.
or Jay-Z? Black Thought's nice. Yeah. Gun to your head, Nas or Jay-Z?
Nas or Jay-Z?
Gun to your head, Nas or Hov? Gun to your head.
I'll say Jay-Z. I say Jay-Z.
Okay, and why? Why though?
Jay-Z got more output.
Okay, so I agree. I'm a Jay guy over and up, and okay, I always say Queensbridge. I can name a top 5 Queensbridge without Nas, and I wouldn't be crazy for saying it. Not saying that Nas,
Comega,
not saying that Mega, Tragedy, Capone, Black Poet, Poet, Shan. Prodigy, Havoc. Yeah, they're I wouldn't be crazy if I'm not saying that Nas isn't top 5.
Prodigy is not from Queensbridge. Prodigy is from Hempstead.
I know he is. I know.
Honorary
but
Queensbridge nigga. Well,
he's honorary. I know.
He's from Hempstead, Long Island.
I know.
Yeah, it's like claiming team. It's like you got to claim a certain part when an NBA player play for the certain team. It's like we got to claim him when he was at his peak there. Like we gonna claim Larry Johnson from the Hornets. We ain't claiming when he was pick.
Now what? Look, man. IU, I'm gonna give you the floor, man. I want you to go ahead and close everything out. Let everybody know where you can find your music and everything, man. But I just want you to know
you can hit me on Instagram, GrandDaddy _IU, on Twitter. Just GrandDaddy IU, and my Facebook fan page is GrandDaddy IU, man. I got the new single called Rumble, produced by K Slugger, my man Shorty Shy, and Drawzilla on the joint with me. Got the Paula Perry shit called Trust Me out right now, featuring infamous Amadeus and me, GrandDaddy IU, but the joint is by Paula Perry. And that's what it is, man.
Shout out to
working.
Paula, man. Yeah.
IU, I know IU.
Yeah.
IU, I know we've had these conversations before, man, but I just want you to know that when I interview you, that's the average person interviewing Nas or Jay-Z and everything like that. The level I put you on as an MC, I honestly mean that. I hold you in high regard, and I will always support you. You always have a home here, Off the Cuff Radio. If you want to check our YouTube, man, we got over 55,000 subscribers now. And I truly mean that if you ever need us to post a song, shout you out, promote something, you want to come on for another interview, you have no idea how much I appreciate your time. And like I said,
what's the joint called on YouTube?
Off the Cuff Radio. If you just search Off the Cuff, I'll send you the link in your DM. Yeah, I'll put the link in. I'll put the link in your DM, man. But yeah, I just want you to know, But Nori always says give people their flowers while they're here and everything, and I respect Nori for always giving you your flowers, and because the first time I heard Nori, he reminded me of you, and I was so glad that I heard him say that with his own mouth, and he said it many times too, and I want everybody to hear that. But I want you to know that you're my Rakim, you're my KRS, you know what I mean? You're a top-notch MC, and, I can't give you enough praises, man. I respect the fact that you gave me your time today, and,
I really appreciate that.
If you were here right now, I'd kiss your ring, my brother. You know what I mean? But you're a great MC. You're one of the top-notch MCs of all time. Smooth Assassin to me is a timeless record, and all your records are after that, man. You've never let me down with any of your music. And I just want you to know that to me and to many others, you're a Hall of Fame level MC, and we can't thank you enough.
All right.
All right, man. You take care, brother. And anytime you want to come back, man, you just let us know.
All right. One of y'all.
Definitely.
All right, man. You take care. You. Thank you, brother.
Thank you again.
Yes, sir, man. Dope bill tonight, fellas.
Yo, Eric. Yo, Eric. Yo, you able to talk to me offline real quick?
Yeah. So, on that note, we about to sign up out of here. Tune in tomorrow night, Screwball Radio with me, Black Poet, and Comet, Madman Screwball. Sunday night, check me out with Sarah Coleman. And Monday night, check us out with New Life from the Fifth Ward Boys. We got a whole lineup coming in. We going to come in. We ready.
All right, and we out.
Oh.